If you're running a growing manufacturing or distribution business, you already know that growth brings its own, let's say, unique challenges, right? The systems that got you to $1 million in revenue, they often start to creak and break on the way to 5. So today, we're going to dig into the operational reality of that growth and take a hard look at the specific infrastructure you need to push past it.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about that growth ceiling that so many businesses slam into. Then we'll get into the root cause, and here's a hint, it's not about working harder, it's about having the right infrastructure. After that, I'll introduce a solution called a governed operating system, show you exactly how your day-to-day operations can be transformed, and we'll wrap up with a clear, really low-risk first step.
All right, first up, the growth ceiling. Let's get real about what it actually feels like to run a business that's in this phase.
So, as I run through some of these common headaches, just ask yourself if any of this hits a little too close to home.
So, your entire production schedule, it probably lives in some monster spreadsheet, and it's managed by just a constant flurry of phone calls and texts. You find out about a critical material shortage only after you've committed to a production run, which, just tanks your timeline and your margins. And there's just no single place you can look to see how the work happening on the floor is actually hitting the bottom line. But here's the big one. You, the owner, you've become the central hub for literally everything. Every question from customers, suppliers, production, finance, it all has to flow through you.
So if that's the daily reality, what's really causing it? This is where we need to stop looking at the symptoms and start looking at the source. The problem isn't about effort, it's about infrastructure. And honestly, this is the most important takeaway. That feeling of chaos, it is not a personal failure. It's not because you or your team aren't working hard enough. The real root cause is the absence of a governed infrastructure, a system that's actually designed to handle the complexity that always comes with growth.
This comparison here just says it all perfectly. On one side, when you just add more capacity, more people, more machines, without fixing the system underneath, you're just creating more manual work, more complexity, more things that can break. Growth actually makes things more chaotic. But on the other side, when you add infrastructure first, you get a governed, coordinated system, and now growth is absorbed efficiently. You've built a stable foundation you can actually scale on.
So what exactly do we mean by governed infrastructure? Well, think of it like this. It's an intentional, connected system where every single piece has a defined job and a clear relationship to everything else. It's the blueprint that allows your entire operation to work together in a coordinated, and this part is absolutely key, a measurable way.
Which brings us right to our third section. If the core problem is a lack of governed infrastructure, then the solution has to be a system that provides it. And that's where we introduce Quanton OS. So what is Quanton OS? It's a deployable AI operating system. And let's be really clear on this point. This is not another piece of software you have to go buy, install, and then struggle to train your team on. You should think of it more like a complete operational layer that's built for your business and then deployed and operated for you by Quanton Labs. And here's how it actually works, and it's all designed to be completely seamless. Step 1, your existing tools, your CRM, your accounting software, they all stay right where they are. Then, Quanton OS connects to them directly using APIs from its own secure servers. After that, 8 AI agents are deployed and configured for your specific business. And the result? A unified leadership dashboard that gives you that single live view of everything. And notice what's missing. No data migration.
Now, at the very heart of this system is the governing agent. You can think of it as the conductor of the orchestra. It's the intelligence layer that coordinates and directs the other 7 agents. It's what handles exceptions when things don't go according to plan, and it's what feeds that leadership dashboard in real time. This is the piece that turns a bunch of separate automations into one single cohesive operating system.
And here's just a quick look at the whole suite of 8 agents. You can immediately see how comprehensive the system is. We've got operations and inventory, which are obviously critical for any manufacturing or distribution business, but it also covers customer experience, finance, sales, and more. And remember, that governing agent sits right on top, making sure they all work together.
Okay, so that's all great in theory, but what does this actually look like in practice? Let's connect these agents directly back to those frustrations we talked about at the beginning. Here's a look at how your operations are truly transformed.
Remember being the human bottleneck for every single decision? Well, the operations agent takes that job off your plate. It tracks every single order, from the moment it comes in to the second it's fulfilled. It assigns and manages production tasks. The bottom line is, you are no longer the single point of coordination.
And what about those surprise, gut-wrenching material shortages? The inventory and supply chain agent watches your stock levels in real time. It automatically triggers reorders before you're about to run out, which prevents those expensive production delays and protects your hard-earned margins.
The Customer Experience Agent puts your customer communication on autopilot. It automatically sends out order confirmations, it gives customers updates as their order hits production milestones, and, this is a big one, it sends proactive notifications if there's a delay. Your customers are always in the loop without you or your team having to manually write and send every single email.
And finally, to solve that problem of having no unified view, the finance agent closes the loop. It automatically generates invoices the moment an order ships. It tracks payments, and it produces margin reports that directly connect what's happening on your production floor to your actual financial performance. You finally get that visibility you've been missing.
Okay, let's move on to our last section, and it's all about the first step. Because we know that for any busy, and let's be honest, probably skeptical business owner, the path forward has to be really clear and really low risk. So the starting point is not a sales pitch. It's a structured engagement called a Discovery and Diagnostic. This is a fixed scope project where we come in and audit your current workflows, identify the specific gaps, and then we actually quantify the value that's leaking out of your business right now through those inefficiencies.
And the deliverable here isn't just a document. It is a genuine strategic asset for your business. You get a complete audit of your workflows, a gap analysis that's scored by severity, a prioritized roadmap for implementation, and a clear pre-sale ROI estimate. It's a full-blown strategic plan that gives you the baseline metrics you would need to measure the success of any change you decide to make.
And this is the most important part of all. You own that diagnostic report. It is yours to keep, whether you decide to move forward with the full deployment or not. The information, the insights, and the decision are all yours.